going to talk about Alyssa's match from Grappling X in 2019. Alyssa's in our kids program, and also she attends our adult classes as well. So we'll just take a look at some of the action, and then we'll break it down after that. Okay, they're going to go and look for their grips. Alyssa's going to get a sleeve grip and a collar grip. Her opponent is going to pull guard, but she leaves her feet flat on the mat, so she has no control of the legs or hips. And if you watch, Alyssa's able to sidestep and quickly pass the guard here. So she passes that leg, gets her hips down, she's past the leg, and it seems like she's past the guard. And then her opponent puts her into half guard. So that elbow and knee come together and put her in half guard. Okay, let's look at that again in super slow motion. Okay, so watch as she passes here. Her opponent keeps her elbow tucked in. And what Alyssa needs to do is either lift underneath that elbow or grab the sleeve with the right hand and really lift up high on that elbow, because the elbow is keeping her hips elevated. So you can see how that elbow's pushing her hips up. She's able to get that knee underneath, and then with both arms, she's pushing on the leg and pushing her back into half guard. So if she would have had a little bit more control of that elbow, she could get the hip up into the armpit and kind of back her hips into the leg and be securely passed. Okay, Alyssa's in half guard. She's trying to pass. Her opponent has good control of the leg, and Alyssa's trying to flatten her out here. She gets a little bit stuck. She has trouble freeing up that knee and starting her pass. So from here, with her opponent flat like that with that arm, the forearm controlled, she should be able to pass a little bit easier, but get stuck here. So let's take a closer look at that half guard position. Okay, the first thing we're going to look at here in the half guard is her opponent opens up her half guard here. So that provides Alyssa an opportunity to use that right foot to bring it up and try to wedge it in the crook of her opponent's left knee. Okay, so there she locked it up, so she kind of lost that opportunity a little bit. You can still do it, but it's going to be a little bit tougher to do. So what Alyssa needs to do here is keep that forward pressure, bring her hips up, and tripod up. So get on her toes, straighten out her legs, and drive all that weight forward into her armpit. Once her hips are up and that knee, the left knee, peaks up above her legs, now she's got the opportunity to bring the left knee to either her right side and go through a cut-through pass, or bring it to the left side, and you could keep the pressure on and maneuver into the mount position. So she's got two choices once that knee is free. But right now, it's stuck between the legs, and she's having trouble moving forward and passing the guard. Okay, now you're going to see Alyssa finally get her left knee over onto the left side of her opponent. She's got good pressure. That knee's coming down. And what she needs to do is take her right arm and underhook her opponent's left arm, and then just start walking that up and keeping that pressure heavy toward the head. That would allow her the opportunity to transition to the mount, because she could use her right foot to reach back on her opponent's thigh and just kind of push forward and maneuver into the mount position.
Just keep pulling you out.
Here, Alyssa's hips are leaning too far to the left, and her opponent's able to turn her hips just a little bit and disrupt her balance and then jump back into the guard. So you see Alyssa is going to come back up. She tries to transition into the mount a little bit too quickly. Instead, needs to do a big back step right there, so that right leg, instead of going over, needs to back step to her left side. But instead, her opponent got her shin in there and is able to recover guard pretty easily. Now Alyssa makes a big mistake in sitting down right there. So she needs to get back onto her feet or her knees, because once her opponent gets up, which you're going to see here in a moment, when Alyssa pulls her into a guard, she's going to get 2 points for the sweep. So you see the ref, he's starting to fan his hand. Once he goes to 3, he's going to give 2 points for the sweep. And she lost a big opportunity there to pass the guard. Alyssa's opponent does a risky move here and grabs the collar and brings it across her neck. So usually you do that when the guard is closed, to have your opponent open it up, but Alyssa's guard's already open, so that really leaves her arm exposed. But because it's on the other side of the neck, it's going to be hard for Alyssa to do a traditional armbar to her right side. So what she's going to do is bring her left leg over in front of the neck, and then she's going to bring her hips up, and it's going to turn into a sweep here. So watch as she rotates, and her opponent's going to do a shoulder roll. And she's going to come up into a traditional cross-side armbar position. See, her hips are going to fall here, and then she does a really good job readjusting her hips. So she needs to get her back flat to the mat. So she does that. As she falls back, she brings that left leg over the head and goes back to a more traditional armbar. So you see that foot come across, and then watch her hips shift so her back goes flat on the mat. And then once she does that, she's got the leverage to hyperextend the arm and get the finish.